All right, I got to hear you got all these names for things. I've been following you for a while, but I'm not privy to the titles of the workouts. I imagine from your CrossFit days with the wads and things like that that you're accustomed to naming badass workouts. Is that what we're talking about when you name like the barbarian, the super
Oh,
barbarian, things like that?
we weren't really talking about it. I was saying that I needed Visine really bad because I did Apocalypto a couple days ago. My eyes were destroyed. I haven't slept. I had to stay up that night, and then yesterday it was 4:30, and I thought that we had a conversation. She said that she was going to get me up at seven. At 7:45, we're leaving at 8. I'm like, okay, I'll just throw myself into the car. So no sleep upon more no sleep after Apocalypto, having the brainstem fried, oh, heat stroke, mega dehydrated, yeah, like chills. No more sweat can come out,
Well, that's what you got. You got to break down what apocalypto is.
and so that's actually what we were talking about was Visine, and so I got my Visine. That's like Tarantino. Here's the how the story goes. Apocalypto is really special. Barbarian is most special. Barbarian is a rite of passage. You know, modern world, we don't really do that. We do bar mitzvahs and we do happy birthday, you're 15, 16, you can have a car you didn't really fucking earn if you have the money, or have this other thing, or yeah, you're a man now. We say these things, but like nothing, we did really nothing to forge them into what the world's going to expect of them, really. And we celebrate it. But every primitive culture tribe has a rite of passage, something of real utility, some demarcation point where they actually have to go and do something of such principle that on the other end they come back and they're changed. They left by themselves. Barbarian, oh my God, it's turned into a little bit of a joke, and I hate saying this, but you asked, can I say it?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm like belaboring a point, say move the fuck on, because I can belabor points, bro. Okay, so what ends up happening, and can my queen record this whole thing also?
Oh,
Is
fuck
this
yeah.
fine?
Yeah.
Queen, will you just hit record on your phone and then go ahead and just leave it, like don't hold it. You know what I mean? Okay, good. And so every primitive culture tribe had that, and even the Machiganga, they throw them in the jaguar fucking jungle for 3 months. If you're 15, go by yourself. Go by yourself for 3 months. But, it's really not that scary because they did what they needed to do as dads to prepare them to do the rite of passage. So it's scary to us, but it's really not scary to them. To them, they know it's the demarcation point. I get to go do this conquest. I get to look forward to now I come back, new status, new value, new respect, self respect. Maybe I make something different, because I didn't really get that before. But so no one's really scared. They're kind of looking forward to it. The Machiganga do that. The Hadza do it. The Maasai, do you know, like 12 to 15? At 12. And I'm thinking when my boys are 12, 13, 14, 15, on a lion hunt? And that sounds scary to us. But to them it wasn't really that scary because they were ready. The dads did what was required of them to teach in principle how to be of utility, how to actually provide, how to actually do that, how to actually protect, like what a man's biological imperative actually is, irrespective of like the morality of good, bad, get fuck off.
Right and
But
wrong.
like
Yeah.
the imperative of man, if you lock that shit down, and you kind of did, as our ancestors did it, we'll call it a rite of passage. We readied you, so you're really not scared. You can't wait to go on the fucking lion hunt. Maybe you wear the tooth, or maybe you'll die. But we're gonna have 8 of you, a lot of you little kids, because most of you are gonna die in childbirth, anyways, or from something else. And so if I have a bunch of you, some of you will live. So if one of you goes, it's kind of, par for the course. So you're looking forward to it, party. Hopefully you come back, you got a good story to tell, and you're a man, and you come back. And when you come back like that, like you went off on a test, that's what barbarian is. It's a rite of passage, a modern day rite of passage, because our ancestors had real ones. And today we don't have it. We have a bar mitzvah. We cake dance. we you're a man now, and so the world actually has wolves in them. Many worlds. The world has wolves. And what's required of you, I didn't give it to you, but I'm going to call you a man, bar mitzvah, happy sweet 16. We'll make shows out of it, and romanticize it, and we'll decorate it so much so the utility of what it actually was, the wisdom, why are we hurting so bad today, us men? How come we don't have direction? How come we don't have fulfillment? Why don't we have so much family? How come we think maybe the world would be better without us? How come we think that maybe that's an option? Maybe I'd take my own life. Maybe I'd take my own life. And, a rite of passage, that does something special for you. A rite of passage shows you that you did something. It was the hardest thing you've ever done. And if it wasn't, you didn't do it right. But it was the hardest thing you've ever done, barbarian. And now that you've come back, you realize you can do something that you thought you never could. You did it. You actually did it. You come back, and now your name is even different. You're Striker what? When we do closing ceremony, who are you? Let's just pretend for a second. We're done with dinner. Everything was cool jam. Hey, we're going to do the 6 o'clock fun container today. Right, guys? 6 o'clock fun container. Every single day, 6 o'clock fun container we do, unless what? Unless otherwise spoken. So from now until infinity, you don't have to ask what time many things are, because that's what's set crystallized in time for now until infinity, unless otherwise spoken. So we're going to go do that. What was I talking? Oh, the barbarian and all that. Many times I release myself of trying to use my memory, to be present with you right now, like this gift, So many times I'll tell you a story and I'll just say, what was I talking about? It's the rite of passage thing. To do that, to come back, you have a new name. You did something you never thought you could ever do. There's no way you thought you could do, and it scared the shit out. Mom didn't even think you could do it. Mom's even asking the coach. I wasn't even the coach at the time. I subordinated my highest swords of father and husband to try Liver King, to try to do a thing that I knew that I couldn't fucking do, so I'd have to give so much of myself to it that I compromised higher swords to do it. That's a tangent. We're not talking about that. The barbarian. These guys are barbarians. You did the hardest thing that you knew that you thought you couldn't do. You have new limits, a new man, a new name, the barbarian. Status. And there's a symbol. It's under here. There's a symbol. And can we shake hands for a second?
Yeah, brother.
A regular handshake, right? That's a regular handshake. Do you know Mark and Chris Bell?
Mm-hmm.
So those guys gave me the gift of this. United.
Yeah.
United. And then we look like this, and I see your barbarian crown, you see my crown. I see you, brother. Yeah. And I already did, because a barbarian looks different, walks different, is different, has principles, monstrosity, is capable of catastrophe. Absolutely. All of that. But the sword is sheathed, right? Yeah, because a barbarian actually has principles. And good and true govern all of it. Good and true govern all of it. Every touch point can be good and true. All of it. And so when motherfucker pieces of shit try and unravel the gift that is my family, like the piece of fucking shit that tried to make a movie and they called it the Untold Truth or something. That slimy fucking garbage piece of shit, the director who will never say his name and deserves what he gets. What we should do to make him pay is boycott every fucking movie that he's ever made prior, and then every movie that he's ever going to make. Y'all should look up who made Liver King, the movie, the director, and you should delete whatever you've downloaded from him, because he didn't tell the truth. Over 100 hours recorded, less than one, highly curated and edited, exemplary through the movie is like this. I was bullied when I was younger. This is all true. It was a very tough life. It was my barbarian version. This is why I made Barbarian, because I would never put my boys through what I went through. And so I said something like that. Yeah, I lived a hard life. And now I've made my fortune. Cut. That's the movie. All of it, they do like that. And then, if you didn't cut it, and now I've made my fortune. My fortune is my family. Look at my queen. Look at her. Look at my boys. Do you see how tan they are? Bro, Rad might fucking crush City on you on tan competition. We should do it.
I don't know about that.
We should at least try.
I don't know about that yet.
Okay.
I got a good base going right now.
I do know. How old are you?
43.
You're the gift of. I'm your elder, and I get to say it. How old are you? 16. Did you have a 10 like that at 16?
I did. I was a little sun baby growing up in Northern California.
Then this is easy. This is easy. You definitely won the first one. 0-1. 0-1. But I'm going to challenge you. The first one to 5 wins, okay?
All right.
And whoever wins gets to donate $10,000 to a charity of our choosing.
Okay. The winner gets to donate.
Yeah,
I
so
like
the
that.
piece of shit that actually made that movie, we should boycott all of that. And then there's another piece of shit that has a website. It's like more plates and more of this other thing. We should do a bunch of dating. Probably not really respect women. We should just date. And because we're articulate and intelligent and self-taught in biochemistry, we can try and do a reaction video, natty or not. Yes, and you guys are going to watch it, and you're going to be entertained, and you're going to subscribe, and I'm going to get money. I get paid. They vote with their dollars. I get paid to make reaction videos, not doing good and true, but trying to say, natty or not, telling the truth, yes or no. Is he telling the truth, yes or no? And then the world's going to pay me for it. More of the same to not do good and true, more of the same. And so we don't have to do it right now, but in-kind trade reciprocity is like, this is why he's not a barbarian, is because he's not good and true. And whoever subscribes to his channel, which I won't say because he doesn't deserve it, should unsubscribe. Every single person that subscribes to his channel should unsubscribe on all platforms. And for everyone that does, the millions, I'm going to donate $1 to a charity that's good and true. And so in-kind trade reciprocity, it's like, it's not okay to allow him to not have a good family. He doesn't have a family. He probably doesn't have many friends. He has a family. He has a mom and dad. Yeah. But like, you know, what's your wife's name?
Natasha.
And Bear and Wolf.
Yeah.
You know what family feels like?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, it might make life maybe the best part of it.
100%.
And so I think that the piece of shits, like the director of the Untold, Not the Truth movie, 100 Hours distilled into one not true movie, and then the guy that made the thing about the email things, they deserve to have health, robust health, and awesome families, because you know what it feels like. And they're never going to get it by doing more destruction to people, lying to people, to try and, my family deserved better than the movie that was made. My family's way better than the lies that have been shared. And so my family's received like that wherever we go. Who's seen the movie? My family's received because as that family. They don't get the same blank canvas as everyone else. And so that's really why I wanted to do this podcast, is because that's not okay for my family. My family is so good, and to be received for less than what they are, you know what? Fine, that's a gift too, because it'll just be a little harder for them, because they're still going to be, look, they're an awesome family. You should see what they get to do. They just had friends over, and did you guys fucking tear it the fuck up? Dude, if you get that, I would love for you to come and hang out to see what we do.
I'm in,
how
absolutely,
we do it,
absolutely.
and to share that with your family. And so they deserve to have that, and they'll never have that doing what they're doing, destroying, trying to pick people apart, natty or not, you know, entertaining, yeah, very articulate, yeah. What value did I get to make my life better in any way? Maybe a better understanding of biochemistry, but the principle in making a reaction in the first place, we react between stimulus and response, space, choice, right? Responsibility, Viktor Frankl. So stimulus, response, everything. And so now we're just responding. No stimulus. Master builders we are, but responding is how we're spending a lot of time. And I didn't know all this until I stopped responding to all that nonsense also, until I retired the Liver King character and actually got back into my high swords. And so I deleted all of my contacts and then just put the 12 that mattered. And when you focus on what matters and you don't respond, but there's a couple of giants that will make respond videos. And natty or not stuff, not good and true, not a beautiful family the cosmos will share. So to have a tectonic shift is the gift of like a hard reset. No one's saying you should die. My queen would like to take their knees out. The vigorous circus clown in Thailand, that guy, he unraveled himself. I actually paid him. He calls himself a coach. His name is like it's vigorous sleazy. Sleeve. It's vigorous sleazy or something like that. It's like the what's that movie? The Lorax, the thing around the neck, the thneed.
The thneed, yeah, Thneed.
He's as vigorous.
A thneed is something everyone needs.
He's as vigorous as that thing, but slimier than a snake because I actually paid him the money. He didn't refund money.
What'd you pay him for?
I paid him because I needed help because my hormones were like an old person. My hormones were like an old person. And Denise. And I have Denise and other people. Denise Rexroad is a divine actual angel. Angel, period. And she deserves all of the credit. And very few people talk and give it. And she takes care of like really important people. She takes, I think that you can say, she takes care of Joe Rogan. Mm-hmm. She takes care of Joe Rogan. Does she take care of you?
Mm-hmm. I've been working with Denise for 3 or 4 years now.
So
She's phenomenal. She's incredible. She's one of the you can't call her a nurse. She's much more than that from not to poo on nurses, but like her education is far beyond that. She's smarter than most functional medicine doctors I've ever had.
She's not a nurse.
But that's what she was. That's where she started, though, right? Like, how would you word what she is?
Well, she's a
did
nurse
she get her
practitioner.
Okay,
she has her master's.
Right, and she got a functional medicine. She went through functional medicine school as well.
So we're both saying the same thing. Her credentials are locked the fuck down. An actual gift, and she takes care of some guy who's in the White House too. I don't know if that's public, so I won't say any further. She just takes care of some important people. And she's a gift, man.
She knows her shit. She's great. I'm going to get into all that. Let me.
Can I just put a button? I'll do it in 1 minute.
Go ahead.
Do it in 1 minute. In 1 minute, timing it. Okay. So the guy that directed the movie, we should boycott all those. We should unsubscribe to anything and or related to the guys that made the long video about no good. It's not good and true. And the vigorous loser clown from Thailand, not good and true. We should unsubscribe. And I just want to lock this down. For every single one person that unsubscribes, every $1 I'm donating to a charity that does good and true. So lock that down. Vote with our dollars. Actual change can actually happen. Less good and true now into the world. More principles get locked down. Barbarians actually become barbarians, not distracted as much as a wandering man flailing about that never became the warrior, the Andrew Tates. I gotta fucking fight other men. Get so good at fighting other men. I'm a cobra, so fucking good. I can assassinate you, and I got a talking mouthpiece too. And I'm gonna go on Piers Morgan and do good with. And then that piece of shit, Piers Morgan, they kind of become friends, Not good and true. A lot of that stuff happens there too. For every single dollar goes to a foundation that does good and true. More barbarians will be carved out of fucking stone. After barbarian, there's super barbarian. After super barbarian, there's hell on earth. It's 1,000 bloody knuckle push-ups, 3 contacts, forehead, chin, right here. If your knees
solar
touch,
plexus.
It doesn't count, and it's always on hard surfaces. From dusk till dawn, 1,000 of them. And I dare you to tell me that you did it because I know what your stories are going to be like. I could do it. I could do it. Okay, yeah. Start trying and see what happens. Oh, yeah, you're right. I got to this number, which was actually not respectable at all, and then I couldn't do it again for a long time, so I just gave up. Yeah, cool. And the only reason why I can say that is because he's a great man. He's a really good man, and he undid his good when I said, you don't have a lot of value you can offer in my life, so just honor the barbarian. So every 3 months, we're going to plug me back into our ecosystem. Barbarian celebration. If we're not making barbarians every 3 months in our ecosystem, if we're not growing like that with that kind of good, locking that principle down, and then I get to reconnect with our family, then this whole thing doesn't work. And then the one thing he was tasked with, he didn't do it. But he's a super barbarian. So he tried to do the next thing, because you can't do the next thing unless you're its predecessor. So super barbarian, there's like 6 of them. That's why I'm saying this. 6 of them. And he'll be invited back into my life when he figures out a way he can be valuable. But you stop being valuable, and when you're not valuable, it doesn't make sense to have, it doesn't matter. My family matters. If I don't have enough time for my family, enough time for me, I take shits laying down on the ground because my body doesn't work regular. I don't actually eat regular food. I make crazy fucking shit. I don't have enough TIME, TYME for me. And so I actually don't play video games. I actually don't call on another friend. I don't do any of that. This is what I do. This is what I do, and I love doing it. So you'll be invited back. So it sounds callous, right? But you're not of utility. No response required. Deleted contact. Don't need to hear superfluous other things. Just no value to me, no value, utility to my family. Maybe an opportunity cost, maybe a distraction. I try to give you the thing. Barbarian matters. Super barbarian is special as fuck. Hell on earth. Oh, you're a new fucking kind of man. And then apocalypto is harder than all. I don't want to say harder than all combined. It's immeasurable. It's exactly what it sounds like. Is apocalypto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are fantastic titles, and I want to we'll link in the show notes where people can actually take a deep dive and figure out what those tests are and where they can start doing them.
Just go to barbarianfoundation.com.
Perfect.
Barbarianfoundation.com, and the rite of passage. It's a charity.
Hell yeah.
That's the trajectory. You can go to the show notes. Go to the show notes. You should go to the show notes, and then you should go to barbarianfoundation.com.
Perfect. Well, that's where the one click it. I want to get, you hit me up before the documentary came out, and you weren't certain which way it was going to go.
Yeah.
Right, and that's generally the case.
I don't think I said I wasn't certain though.
Well, I thought you said hopefully it goes well. You had a.
I don't think I said that.
No.
Okay, yeah, I always tell people, be very careful when you quote me, because I'm pretty certain I know exactly what I said.
Maybe I heard wrong. It seemed like there was an inkling that shit could have gone sour. That's how I'll word that.
I'll just say okay.
Okay. And, we were talking about timing it, timing the podcast around then. And I think a lot of people have seen it, right? Like, you fucking have a huge following. Netflix in and of itself is a huge following. Untold is a series, so there's a lot of people that are already into those, kind of like the 30 for 30.
Yeah.
Kind of like 30 for 30 on ESPN. So, and trust me, being a family man, I understand how important it is to want to protect, not just from a physical stance, but in the modern world, protect the namesake of the people you love, right? And to give them every opportunity, right, as a provider, for them to do the best in their life without having shackles or some kind of weighted vest they got to carry on behalf of us as fathers.
It's our job to fucking lift them, not shackle them down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make them better than you.
Absolutely.
Make them lift them up like that. Yeah, and then when you're responsible for what you just said, a shackle, well, then I'm making a podcast. I'm going to actually tell the truth.
Yeah. So let's dive into that, because there's clips and shit in there, and I just talked with our friend Denise, and she said she'd been interviewed for 3 hours talking about stem cells and BPC 157 and peptides and all the myriad of great shit that's out from maybe not an ancestral standpoint, but from a miracle of modern medicine, right? Like, what is actually working scientifically for people. And I love peptides. Stem cells have healed my knees.
Dude, let me turn that
music
the
just
fuck
got a
down.
bump
I'm
up.
sorry.
It's all good.
That's speaker number 4. That one's not supposed to be on at all.
It's good music, though. It's good music. Little hand pan in the background.
Now you still hear it, right?
Uh-huh.
That's the backup.
thinking about that, just the fact that those things were 86 in and of itself tells a tale, right? It tells a tale of like, we're not going to show the science on why some of this stuff is hugely beneficial for people. There's a great podcast that Rob Wolf did with Paul Chek, and Paul Chek, is one of my mentors. Rob is as well. Paul has a phenomenal physique, never needed anabolics, right? He's a mesomorph. He was strong as an ox from a young age, total badass in the 82nd Airborne Division. And he's seen, where bodybuilders go awry and get shit wrong, and there's health consequences for that. But Rob talked about, going raw vegan on that, but I'll link to this podcast in the show notes. It's a good one. It's 4 hours. And Rob said, all the right things in the world that he had done couldn't shift how bad he had fucked his own natural hormones up because he was a raw vegan for so long, right, in college, right? And so, like, now he's in jiu-jitsu, and he's like, I had to work with clomiphene and HCG to help boost back natural testosterone. For me, I'll talk about my shit. I've been on testosterone since I was 17 years old to try to play, football in the NFL and being my exact weight that I am right now. 215. No, I walked on at Arizona State. I sat the bench, and then that was the chip on my shoulder to fight professionally because I knew I was still an athlete. And instead of trying to be as big as I could at ASU, I was 268. I now realized, they got Brock Lesnar, big-ass heavyweights. I'm going to see if I can cut to 205. And from there, that taught me a lot on leaning out and how to stay thin and water reduction and all those things. But, Charlie Francis had a famous quote he was Ben Johnson's coach in the 88 Olympics, and he said, the playing field is level. It's just not the playing field they think it is. Right? And so I remember, I'm buddies with Lance Armstrong, like the fucking witch hunt that went on for Lance Armstrong. The witch hunt. I mean, think about that. Imagine if you saw Mr. Olympia and somebody said, that guy takes steroids, and they pointed to one person with amongst all of the people on stage. You'd be like, what do you mean that guy? Like, what do you mean that guy? This is the fucking whole field here, right? So Lance Armstrong, same thing. Everyone in the Tour de France is working with some type of performance enhancement. The whole crew is. Victor Conti, went to prison because he was aiding Marion Jones, Barry Bonds. Everyone wanted to see Barry Bonds break the home run record. Oh. And everybody knew what Barry Bonds was doing. Nobody gave a fuck about that. So, I mean, when your thing happened, and I want to refresh this too, because I want to get the full story that wasn't told. I want to know about your life like growing up. I want to know about the changes that you've made. I want to know what got, the story of what got you into this, because it's very akin, being at Paleo FX, guys like Mark Sisson, Rob Wolf there, right? We all have similar backgrounds that brought us through our health and wellness journey. And these are the core tenets of the Ancestral movement, are things that stood out, right? So because somebody might say like, oh, he lied, that kind of shit, and like you've come clean on that, that doesn't discount anything else that's happened before that. It doesn't discount a single fucking thing that you've taught prior to that. What are you going to say? You call a snake oil salesman, sunlight is snake oil? Fucking cold therapy snake oil? What are we doing here? You think liver's snake oil? Look at the fucking micronutrient profile in organ meat. Come on. So I just say this because it's been frustrating for me on the sidelines witnessing the modern witch hunt, right? Which is effectively what it is. And it always has pissed me off to see people make a name for themselves who are shitting on another person. Like, that guy's clearly done nothing in his life to earn a reputation, and yet because he's using you as a springboard, now he gets more people. And that's something that pisses me off. There's another lady, the food scientist, she calls herself, because she doesn't like the food babe. And it's like, I'm going to call myself the food scientist because I went to college and I know more than the food babe. And the food babe is preaching wrong principles, and she said that sugar is toxic. And let me define from the Webster Dictionary what toxic means, right? And it's like, listen, dude, fucking sugar is not helping people. The vast majority, unless you're metabolically flexible and you can handle like a little added sugar in your diet, most people should do with less, right? Let's face it, right? I still see people, you go to a fucking airport, go to an airport and use the shitter. Go to a truck stop and use the shitter. Right? That smell is the smell of someone's diet that's been wrong for 30 years.
Do you know when you smell that, it's in your lungs because you're smelling it? So now it's in your lungs, and now it's being diffused in your bloodstream.
I don't want to hear that.
So you could avoid that. You could avoid the.
I'm just saying it's an example of where we're at as modern people, and for anyone to say
it's not in the right direction, we're becoming sicker and weaker. And it's not okay. We're calling it depression, and we're calling it anxiety. We're calling it autism, pandas, anhedonia. We can't remember our own names. We're sending our elders outsourcing our elders, and shame on our elders for not being more valuable to restore the ancestral message. There's 12 ancestral tenets. How strong is your time? You know, how profitable are you with your time? The grandparents are grand. Wisdom, like the ancestral movement, Mark Sisson is the reason why I learned about it. Mark Sisson and Weston A. Price is how I learned about it in the first place. It's not okay. And then, okay, that's really what matters is the message. The name never did. A snake oil salesman or any other name, that's all fine and good because there's attention, a lot of attention. And then, you know, unfortunately, the intention, it was entertaining. It's entertaining. And then sometimes, you know, I get to meet a lot of people, which is awesome. And, hey, it's Liver King. And, yeah, how do you know me? And, oh, you're the guy that does this. Yeah. What do you do? How did it change your life? And, oh, you eat the raw meat. Do you eat raw meat? Do you eat liver? No, no. Okay, since we just met, could you just do push-ups before dinner? Could you maybe push-ups with me right now? Just start that one thing, and then if you could learn about the ancestral tenets, that'd be awesome. But some people, it changed X, Y, and Z.
Right.
My daughter actually got pregnant because of your supplements. It wasn't the supplements. It was the supplements, but it's the actual nurture when you come into our ecosystem of true believers that have been crippled by respective what we're calling the depressions and autism and X, Y, and Z, people that have actually recovered that and lived that life with their family. It's their job to take care of you, to nurture you in a way. And then, by the way, if you happen to have this other issue, our ancestors had a similar issue, they would eat the corresponding organ of that healthy animal to strengthen and support their own. You should go to the butcher and try and if you won't do any of that, I got something else for you. But the hand-holding and nourishment is true believers that have been through the same shit, and it's the tenets, most of the tenets that help. Oh, so you got a neurodegenerative disease, and you're having trouble there. What should I take? You shouldn't take brain. You should probably take some sunshine. You should probably start getting into the cold. That would be really good if you start getting cold. And if you start doing some of these ancestral tenets, you know, or, oh God, kids with epilepsy, that kills me. Kids that have seizures and epilepsy that don't know about the ketogenic diet, that it's actually FDA approved for the ketogenic diet.
100 years ago, Johns Hopkins was studying it, and that's like when people call that a fad diet. It's like, it's been around for 100 years. When is it not a fad? You know, this was the thing that showed the only thing that would work for when prescriptions fail, right? When epilepsy is so bad that drugs are ineffective.
That actually
right?
isn't totally true. The Charlie Foundation, I think it was Charlie, that they're the guys that
With the high-dose THC?
What?
High-dose THC? Is that what you're talking about?
No, the Charlie Foundation.
Okay.
And they had epilepsy, and drugs weren't working, and they didn't know what to do. And first principles, they tried this out. Well, the brain might be firing like this differently, and what if we restricted some of this energy source? No, I don't need that. Can I just have the top to it? The top to it? And so in principle, any top to any bottle like this, can I have a top to any bottle? If you look in the car, there's one bottle like this. I've been spitting in that bottle, so be careful if you open it. And first principle, okay, let's see what happens. And then he stopped having seizures. And then John Hopkins, they got interested. And then the world got interested, and it works. It's lifestyle. It's more congruent with how our ancestors lived. By default, we kind of lived a pretty fucking ketogenic lifestyle. You know,
depending, you know, if you're polar, you know, looking at Weston A. Price's work, if you're from the equator, a little different, right? Carbohydrates going to be more available, that kind of stuff.
Ketogenic still. You're never not ketogenic. Your measure. You go chug you're always some level of ketones, right? Mm-hmm. Hopefully, at least some. And so along that continuum and the activity that ensues along with it too, it's just this is an energy source. This is interesting, and let's try this. And it worked. And then after it ends up working, again, Hopkins gets involved, and it's an FDA And there's other drugs, and we'll try the Depakotes, lithium, a lot these mood stabilizers, the chemical straitjacket side effects that they have, will just dull the whole organism,
Yeah.
the whole organism. But a ketogenic diet, evidence based, similar to our ancestors. So if you come into our ecosystem, somebody who's dealt with the same thing and recovered that same thing, and or their kid had seizures, and the ketogenic diet, you have this. Let me share with you how this worked for us. And then also, brain is important because it has myelin sheath components, and thank you, and other components that's why the brain is called brain, because that tissue organized to become that, not something else that you might call muscle or spleen. There's information in brain for it to be called brain. Only nourishment in that respective thing that can only be achieved by, so like supports like, probably isn't going to hurt you. It might have the same information that might help you, but this isn't as powerful as other lifestyle levers like the tenants. Like the ancestral tenants that are free and accessible, and you can do it right now, and it'll save you money. It's kind of awesome. You should try them. And so that's kind of that's how that works. And if you come to one of my companies, you're going to be met with true believers that experience that same shit. What we sell is the ancestral lifestyle. We also sell the thing like supports like. Want you to go to the butcher, go to the farmer's market. That's fun. There's this other thing too, and you can get in a capsule, any version. Make sure it's from New Zealand because, dude, the other fucking countries have. So what ends up happening? Why I'm saying all of this is there was a what's the nested topic, Striker? Do you know? Okay, you weren't listening. Do you remember?
The next topic?
The nested one, because this was a small. It was okay. What the world is living with: depression, anxiety, infertility, dementia, and all there. And we've relegated. It's a diagnosis. We've labeled it because it fits in a DSM fucking book. If you have this number of subjective metaphors, now we've figured it out. That's what you have. Take this other thing for it. Sicker and weaker we're becoming. Less love, less family. That sucks. More not good and true, anger, frustration, less love, less patience, less grace. That's not okay. And so the name doesn't matter. The message fucking matters. It's the message that matters. And so taking steroids, the vigorous circus clown that said I was on a billion things, Danice Rexroad was trying to help me. She's an angel, and you know it. And I wasn't like buying these things illegally. And I was trying these different things, not at the same time, but all of those things, all of that was true. And I hired him because I needed help, because I couldn't figure shit out, because I had brain fog that was horrible. I was trying to do a lot of things, and I'm going to try this Liver King thing, by the way. I'm going to try this Liver King thing. So I don't know who could help me. So you know who I asked somebody, and somebody said, there's this guy that's really smart. His name's Derek. And so I emailed Derek. Derek, I got problems, all this, that, and the other. Could you help me? You got me? Send. No response. Before I started Liver King, So he had the email the whole time. The whole time he had it. And then, so what ends up happening is he doesn't help me. There's another really smart dude, vigorous sleeve. So I hire him, actually pay him 2 payments, and then he unravels his contract as a man to not honor the contract at all and to stop responding to me after attempting to guide me with certain things. And then a lie after lie after lie, and then to reach out and to try and share it. Not good and true. A lot of not good and true. And so taking steroids became the thing, Liar King. He's a Liar King. Liar King. And so he's probably going to go away. Just tuck him away and he'll go away. But I did kind of go away recently. But what ends up happening is the truth gets told, the bill comes due. I wasn't on all those things at one time. All that money that's spent on steroids is all that money spent on growth hormone. Because the testosterone cream that I have in here, That testosterone cream is like $50 a month, maybe
Yeah.
$100 a month. So really spend $11,000 a month on steroids. Oh, I'm sorry, $11,000 a month on a peptide, and $100 a month, not on steroids, on a steroid. But I'm going to apologize and say I took steroids, and I'm going to introduce myself by saying I take steroids. That's the thing. Hurting somebody, I couldn't figure out who did I hurt? Was it intentional? Did I premeditate to hurt or to gain an unfair advantage over a single person? Maybe it could have even been the opposite. I didn't watch social media. I called it anti-social media. I never had any of this stuff. I didn't know that natty or not was a thing. I didn't know it could become a thing. Kind of clever, whenever I first heard it was a thing. So prior to that, people are starting to ask me on the internet, do you take steroids? Young kids. And so I write back, oh my God, how should I answer this? Do I take steroids? The message is what matters. I don't matter. It's the message. Nope. No, don't you believe that you could become anything? Don't you think you too could become anything? And just try. Because I was nothing. Like really nothing. And it was really hard for a long time. So I kind of know what it's like. And you could become something without steroids. And so I started it. That's what I said. And then I didn't know it was actually a thing, natty or not. Then there's a video, there's a video. The first one, natty or not, I don't know. Second one, I don't know, but millions of people still watch it, and I'm not sure what good is it doing? What's it actually doing? What's its purpose? Maybe it's just to gain attention. But we'll take the blessings if we got attention because of that. A lot of attention followers that you're able to share. I hope maybe some of the message, will do good. But then it's the liar king. And then my queen knows the truth, and people close to me know the truth, and they say, how come you don't just tell people the truth that you've only been on testosterone cream for years and growth hormone. And growth hormone, many times I don't take it at all. When I have an injury right now, I have a lot of injuries. My intestines are, so I'll take more when I have an injury. And I still take a maintenance dose. That's a maintenance dose. So there's a utility, like any technology. Fire is a utility. Spear technology became a utility. Projectile utility. Technology is anything that can be used as a utility. And so testosterone cream was made. It's like the arrow. Someone made an arrow. And out of some other kind of principle, I'll let you guys use the arrow, kill, feed your family. And instead of me using that technology, I'm just going to say no because I'm ancestral. And meanwhile, everyone's life is getting better, but yours. Have you seen the Croods?
Mm-hmm.
Watch it every year. Have you seen Wally?
Yo, fucking love Wally.
Watch it every year.
My dad just did a cruise. He's 73.
The Croods.
But he did a cruise. I know what you're talking about, the cruise. But he just did an actual cruise to Alaska, and he said it felt like the Axiom from Wally. People floating around, getting their food delivered right to them. And I can't get that image out of my head. I mean, I was dying. He's like, I'm in the gym every day. I haven't touched a single carbohydrate while I've been here. He's
trying to get. Does your dad look good?
He does. He's had some ups and downs, but yeah, he's physically fit. But certainly by comparison, both my parents still have great physiques for their age. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Because that's we laugh, but that's happening because that's what he saw, and that's why the movie's really important because every year that inches closer to the year the movie has made the Axiom and all that. Elon's trying to do the Axiom, and we are doing the people thing. It's actually happening. And so I want to be the biggest fan of that movie, Wall-E. I feel like I want to promote it, re-release it, because Wall-E is such a beautiful, elegant teacher. A genius has made it. They didn't make a second one. Why not? You know what a blockbuster the first one was and how much merch the first one sold? Why didn't they make a second one? Someone with genius, honor, and like they did this right, and I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. How do I promote it? How can I promote Wally? It's such a good movie because that's happening. We're becoming sicker and weaker. The message is what matters. That's why I started to lock down. I don't take steroids, and since I know you're going to ask, let me just go ahead and prospectively bring that up. I'll control that one. And so that's the thing that I lied about, and so I became a liar. And instead of like actually what I am, the one thing that I lied about, became my reputation. But that is my reputation, and I made those decisions. I earned every bit of every fucking hate. I earned every bit of the support. So many people, and real men, like real man, servicemen, and fighters. These guys that you go to the gun show, you find a lot of friends, real men, a lot of friends. And then people that aren't so friendly that might capitulate something from the audience anonymously, steroids, and then I'll turn around and I'll say, "Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?" Sometimes
Crickets.
Sometimes you don't get a cricket, and I said, "Yeah, that's true. Why are you saying it now? Is it to get attention? Because you have my attention, but." You have my attention. Why are you saying it? And because you took steroids, because you deceived people. You're right, I took steroids. And it was never my intention to deceive people. It's the message that matters. I hope that you'll know what that message is. And you probably never will. So push-ups before dinner. Never forget push-ups before dinner,
The problem, I want to interject here, I think the big problem for people, like if you're Lance, like you discredits everything the guy's ever done, right? So I get why Lance lied. But for someone in your circumstance, why lie? Well, the second somebody says, yes, I take testosterone replacement therapy. Yes, I have HRT, whatever. I have a prescription for growth hormone and testosterone, and I use peptides on the side, is to the average person, that's the first give me on why you look the way that you look and why I'm never going to look that way. Yeah. So let me discredit everything else. Yeah. Right. And the buck stops there for a lot of people. Right. And so I can see why that is problematic when you're trying to push a movement, while you're trying to do things, because it derails the argument. It's like, listen, there are millions of people on testosterone replacement therapy that do not look good. Right, but they enjoy the increase in libido. They enjoy the increase in energy and vigor. Maybe they add 20 pounds to their bench press, but they're not shredded. They're not putting in the same work you are. Right, they're not doing all the other intangibles that actually make you look the way that you look. And yes, you got testosterone and growth hormone helping, but it's insane to me that is like a conversation killer. Just simply because of the fact that people really don't know. Right, people really don't know how to get that far, and so it's really easy for people that don't look that way to say, oh, that's why he looks that way. Like I said, man, I took a gang of shit when I was in college.
All of that's fine. Like all because it's almost like egotistical. The truth is I worked really, really hard. The deeper truth I think you alluded to earlier is if someone says, how long have you been working out? You probably don't want to tell them the 30-something years because, oh, my God, if that takes 30-something years, I might not start. So I say, why are you asking? And then we get to what you should do is you should start. You should start because really fast you could look really good. Push-ups before dinner.
And you'll feel good.
You'll feel good?
Yeah.
And so the message matters. That's how it started. That you can forget everything that I did. Everything that I did, and all of that can be tarnished because it was never for me. The ancestral message, we already live it. My boys are awesome because of it. Our family is awesome. Our ranch is awesome. Animals treated the same way. I wanted to share it. And the network that said that they were going to tell the truth thought it would be interesting to make a movie of it too, to share it. And that wasn't, when you edit stuff in your network and you have to pay for stuff, then we try and sell things that people might want to buy, and sometimes people want to buy things that aren't as positive. We like negative stuff for some reason. like negative stuff. So they try to make that thing. Me being a liar, what I was trying to do is share some tenets that I believe in so deeply because it changed our lives that they don't cost anything. You can do them right now. It actually could change your life tomorrow. When you start, if you've not put your feet on the ground, a lot of people haven't. Once you immediately connect with the earth, it's really interesting, when you come back, how you feel. No explanation required. But I'm like, hey, when's the last time you really got sun? Like, we avoid it like it's so villainous,
They do here in Texas with the heat. And like, how do you think you attenuate? Like, go for a jog in the middle of the day when it's that hot, and then tell me that you can't withstand the sun after that. If you jog in the midday sun in Texas in the summertime, you make the heat it's not a problem, right? You become so in tune with it that you just go out, you sweat, you feel good.
I do think it's important to, if possible, start when you can, right? Middle of summer. But if you actually if you go outside every day, and as it's warming up, the adaptations that you get is, guess what? Your core temperature gets to stay the same. Your thermoregulatory mechanisms like sweating or shivering, those start to kick in. The biological benefits from those things start to give you more of the same. And now the adaptations happen in a slower, gentle kind of way. But to go running at 2 o'clock and do apocalypto like I did the day after Father's Day, you don't just day one, you need to start, just fucking go. But adaptations take time.
Yeah.
And if you just make it part of your daily routine, you end up not getting hot. You just sweat a bunch, and guess what happens when you sweat a bunch? You might be wet, but all those toxins are gone. The liver that doesn't actually collect them, filters them and processes them, that gets to operate a little bit better. A second brain of ours, the liver, gets to operate a little bit better, and a bunch of really cool things happen when you start doing some of these things. So the lie, kind of undercut. The messenger killed the message, but the message just started. That Liver King, there was so many embarrassing things that I did, When I watched the movie, I'm like, I remember that, I remember. And you got to remember, first of all, that we filmed it a year ago or a year and a half ago or something. And then most of what they showed was way before that, too. So if you're a man of any kind of value and you have done your job a little bit and you've grown a little bit, you have the right to be embarrassed as fuck about content that many years older.
Yeah.
Watching, oh my God, the messenger did fuck that up. Taking notes I got to do. And to not fuck it up again, nobody gets to offer me the second chance. I'm taking it. That's what I'm doing. I'm capable of doing it. I know how to do it. My family, they signed up for the movie, actually, that no one wanted to do it. The amount that they paid us would end up costing me a ton of money because I actually make real money. And then what they paid me was so insignificant. And it was, if you want to pay me 100x that, then I'll make a second one. But if not, that's fine. The number you're going to pay me may as well be divided by whatever. It doesn't matter. It's inconsequential. I'm making it to try and do some good and true to show these tenets. And so they didn't do that. They undercut it. They did something else. What I'm doing, it's not even what I'm doing. I call it King's time. It's King's time. What I've learned to do is discern what matters, nothing that doesn't. Be profitable as fuck with time, and then bridge the gap, the delta to perfect, to discern what matters. Be profitable with time. Delta to perfect. What is it? What's the action you could have done differently? And then start doing that in real time. And it's like, oh, perfect. Flow. And then when something's done perfectly, that's awesome. That's perfect, right? But what about when it's above that, right? Unexpected. That's king time. Not my Liver King. It's like, that's the kingdom. That's capital G time, man. And so king time is what's happening. And when you tell a clock, there's 12 demarcation points. And there's 12 ancestral tenets. What's stronger than time are principles. Before time principles, after time principles. Time is actually not what we think it is. Time is very manipulative. I can do things very different with time than you can do with time. I'm not saying that one's better than the other. Actually, I am saying one's better than the other, but I don't know you well enough, so I take it back. I'll just say
Are you Doctor Strange? You can fucking stop time and move it back?
when you go on a vacation, you know how it feels that things might go fast. And
Yeah.
when you do the opposite of that, things might seem really slow. And then my boys and I, we do Wednesday. What's the Wednesday workout called, boys? Grit Day. Wednesday's Grit Day. There's no structure to it. Just today you're going to pay a barbarian price. A barbarian's double fisting battle axes, running up the mountain to no end, period, to full send their potential, to no end. And so Grit Day reminds us of that. We're doing Grit Day, carrying and holding a bunch of stuff like weighted vest and mace or something. And then we see some technology guys inside what we call the flex space. It's an open garage. And they say, hey, technology guys, can you walk with us? Because we don't stop, because we're working out. What my boys don't know is I'm not working out with them. I'm bonding with them. I'm bonding with them. Okay, I'm working out too, guys. I'm working out too. You're working out. And then these guys, hey, walk with us, guys. Most people don't know how to walk and talk. Just walk as I talk. If you don't mind, just listen. We want to do a Mario Kart setup. My wife, she doesn't get to do a lot of the fun container stuff with us anymore. I think she would enjoy getting on a steering wheel, an immersion experience, huge screen, combining the virtual world with the real world, having our me's look like our respective self. Mom, dad, striker, rad. He calls himself 4in though, so like just fucking make it striker or strikes, please. And so we're actually next to each other every day at 6 o'clock. We can see each other on the track. We can attack each other. The virtual world and the real world overlaid. And so that's what I imagine. Could you guys make that for us? Could you make that for us as we're walking, we're working out and bonding? And then how much time do you think it took? How much time did it take my time to build that setup?
I don't know.
Just guess, any number.
A day.
But of my time, though.
I don't know.
Well, I just walked you through it.
Right. So the walk was how long it took.
Yeah, but that's not really true, because I was bonding with my boys. I was working out. We never stopped. And so any extra time that it took to build that, it took zero extra time. And so the fun box, she plays in every day with us. And she can't wait to play. They can't wait to play. Every day, bro. And so what we do differently with our time, we can do many things. I call it passive profit centers. So like I wear weighted vests all of the time. It's in the car, and I took it off because I didn't want to look like an idiot, of meeting you, which I guess I did taking a piss.
That was perfect. That was quite ancestral, meeting you at the gate while you're taking a leak. That was the first thing I do when I get home sometimes, just from the drive in Texas. Nothing wrong with that.
So whenever we're doing something, when I'm having a meeting, which I don't sit down to have a meeting, I'm wearing the vest, and I don't spend any time in the gym anymore. So my passive profit center is my skeleton. I have a 40-pound vest, an 80-pound vest, and a 120-pound vest, and then maces loaded up from 25 to 60.
Ooh, buddy.
So I get to walk with one of those, and wherever I go, and it's no extra effort. I was already going there, and so passive profit center is what we do with our time. Time works different, is what I'm saying. And so my hope and goal really is that the ancestral tenets, it fits. King time, there's 12 of them. What's stronger than time or principles came before it will remain after time. Time is not actually what we think it is. It works different for different people. Time is almost like a daughter from God, an offspring from God. If God made the sun, and if God has the moon, Mother Moon or something, Mother Earth, and time is like one of those other things. And we can. It's different for everybody. Everything that you do within your entire existence is done within the realm of time. And who's in control of it? Ultimately, absolute, who's in control of that? That's you, right? Yeah. And so indivisible we are from time, so we're called human beings. But we could be called time. Loyalty to time. It's kind of important to be loyal to lower swords. That's hard when we can't be loyal to our own time. And so king time's like, dude, that was perfect, but that was better than perfect. Bonus score, lock it down. And so the demarcation points with king time, KYNGTYME, instead of it reflecting the hour demarcation, which of course it can do that. It's one of the tenets, the 12 tenets: sleep, eat, move, shield, connect, cold, sun, fight, bond, evolve, adventure / fun. The very top is spirit. And so before I had 9, I don't know why I had 9. I'm good. One of the best gifts I have is categorizing shit. I can categorize anything. And so those 9 ancestral tenets made sense. And people would ask, what about the spirit? What about, I don't know. I didn't know. But evolve became the 10th one because I thought that was important, to grow, to get better, to have the right to change my mind. When Rad says, well, earlier you said this. Well, you know what? If I'm really growing, if I really evolve, then I have the right now. I've earned the right to change my mind whenever I want to change my mind. And if me changing my mind is the better bet, honoring good and true, nobody's hurt worse, everybody wins more. A decision-making matrix can guide that pretty easily. So stronger than time are these principles. There's 12 ancestral tenets. It's not liver king time. King time is kingdom time, and that's what it is. So I'm proud to say what I tarnished in the snapshot of time, I did. And I'm barely starting to share what we're really doing. You know, my son Stryker is a rap artist. Give Me a Minute on Spotify. It was on there earlier. Next time it comes on, I'll be like, hey, can we turn this up just for a second? What I'm doing with my time, I've retired the Liver King character to do my higher swords, to do king to my queen, to do father to my boys. Every Thursday is Father, Son Thursday. Father, Son Thursday. And we get to go do stuff, but you get what you give, motherfuckers. All roads bleed through Barbarian. So you bleed before breakfast. We're going to do it together. And whatever depth at which we bleed, at which we sacrifice and pour that blood into, that's the rise and the reward. That's what we get to treat ourselves to. And so let's measure. Let's see who can, do that. And then let's honor what we said. And then it kind of tastes better, feels better. Everything seems to be better to do that. So retiring that character to step back in to do higher swords. And then Stryker's first song, Give Me a Minute, is about being still. Stimulus, response, choice in the middle, responsibility. But instead, stimulus, response, stimulus, response, stimulus. We respond a lot. To Give Me a Minute is stimulus with everything. Slow the fuck down. Give me a minute. Slow the fuck down. Choose. Understand. Respond. Out of principle. And so he's allowed me to share a lot of what we're doing now. Yeah. So I don't mind. Okay, it's true. I tarnished the message. Most of that stuff's true. I did lie about taking steroids. It wasn't really plural or multiple. It was really, I should have said, I take steroid and I take one peptide. That's what I should have said. That would have been the truth. And I thought, let me not say that and get more criticism. So I'll say this other thing. And so all that's the truth, and everything it being tarnished, whoever it tarnished, that's what happened. I hope that they found another guru, to better themselves, because they already needed help in the first place. We all need help in the first place. And it doesn't matter what you call the person that you learn from. And so if you call this guy this thing, there's someone else that you should learn from. And there's someone else that can help you make your better life and keep collecting information, and I hope that makes sense, because the blueprint of how our ancestors lived for millions of years, that shaped our DNA today so that we could become the baddest mammalian predators that ever lived, the most loving, the most communicative, the most bonding, warm, fire, bliss, beauty, good, true. Those things that shaped our DNA, we're no longer doing those things. The modern world we live in, can we overlay some of these principles, 12 of them, to live a better life, a way better life? And so in a organized way, I just hope you find someone, the better bet is find a better philosophy than the ancestral way. That makes sense. To me, that makes sense. That's what shaped us forever. Forever. That's what shaped us since our inception. Have we evolved? Maybe one day we'll evolve to be able to take on so much sugar and be so insulin resistant that Wall-E movie that we've adapted and actually probably not lived better lives, but able to live. Maybe not evolve so much. Maybe de-evolve.
Well, the proof is in the pudding. You know, when I think of these principles, even like fasting and things like that, you can feel it. It's immediate. Wim Hof talked about that. You get in the cold, you know, and you battle your way through the holy shit moment, and you find stillness, and you get out, and it shifts your neurochemistry, and it changes the way you feel and operate for hours, sometimes for the rest of the day, right? Like, that's pretty impactful when you think about, I'm a natural, like the McKenna's brothers talked about that, you know, like we're a walking bag of chemicals, you know, the way the brain works, and if we understand these levers that we have within ourselves, that we can control ultimately what type of chemicals we're producing, what our experience is, where our emotional state is, and taking that responsibility allows us to have that. And what you're providing are tools, right? These are tools that we've known about for many, many years and thousands of years. And if we can come back into some sort of harmony and consistency with these things, there's not only long-term benefit, there's benefit in the act itself.
Yeah, I would say they're not tools, they're really principles. And I'm going to give you one example. What you said with cold, not only do you get those immediate and, of course, some longer-term benefits, even the upregulation of brown adipose tissue to be more metabolically active, that's something that matters. I used to ask my boys, what did you do today that matters? Stuff that you can stack, build, and not what mattered. I don't need to know about something in the past. It's not going to matter. And so there's so many extra benefits there. And then I shared this with my wife. Can I tell them? I'm going to tell them this one. There's 130 of them. This is one of them. Do you ever when you get in the cold, where do you go to? How deep do you go?
To the chin.
To the chin?
Yeah.
Do you ever put your brainstem go back like that?
Yeah, that one's tough, where I tilt back like that and get to the jawline and under the ears before. I don't like letting it go inside my ear holes, but.
And if you do that and you're just breathing right at the nostrils, you know,
that's a tough one.
98.6 is where we like to operate. And then 32-degree continuous cooling cold plunge, it says, I'm dying. There's no way I'm going to lock down. I'm going to vasoconstrict. I got to conserve because imminent death.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to fucking do everything I know how to do. All the vascular tissue, there's so many different things are now doing what they know how to do. But they haven't done that in a long time. And then, by the way, you do have to be careful about how you do it.
Right. I mean, I'll do a breath hold underneath with a spotter. Right. Wim Hof has said always have a spotter. He's lost, you know, a handful of people that decided to do breath locks underwater by themselves. Not recommending that, but yeah, with my son there or my wife, you know, doing the breath hold underwater, mammalian dive reflex, all that stuff is just hitting pathways that are really untouched.
So check this out. There's a moment where you think maybe you're getting disoriented and it feels the same every time. Start counting backwards from 30, and the minute that you can't fluently do it, get the fuck out. You got whatever the delta is to 0 plus 15 seconds. Safety cushion. So when you're getting out, the reperfusion, the new expansion that it hasn't seen before because it's never been so constricted. It's never done this before either. And so superhighway, you can have a superhighway, something that matters. Eating nose to tail is information, more information, diverse information. Nose to tail in the garden, that's seasonal, local. Information from the sun, you know, information from the earth, information from spirit and energy. If we can take in a variety of information and you have a superhighway, getting cold is fucking awesome. And so cold is one of the tenets, but it's really thermal pressures. Heat or cold, you know, any thermal pressure are the things. So I think part of what you're saying is there's actually utility, not just forever, but like do it. You feel good right now with a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Some of these other things, it depends on what you're dealing with. It might take you some time. It's nice to do most of these things. If you think you're paying a huge price for one of, I'm not going to do that because it's cold out and I don't like to walk out in the cold. You don't have to do that one. You can skip that one. There's 8 other tenets, you know. So you see the benefits now. In principle, stack compound, better life, man. More love, more understanding. So the King Time clock, 12 tenets, Kingsbury. Like, oh, this lines up. We should probably go into business with it. Do you want to see it?
Absolutely.
I should show it to you because you're going to like it. You're going to be like, how do I get that right now? Check it out. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Whoa, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. And you can't see it right now, but engraved on the inside, it says, all roads bleed, really tiny. All roads bleed, ... through barbarian. And on its reciprocal side, it kind of balances it and says our core values, strength, courage, mastery, honor, above all else, loyalty. Just really small.
I like
and
that.
so whenever this was kind of developed, I thought, okay, I could die now. I could die for a little bit. You know, because liver king. But the message matters. Time, principles, what's stronger than it? Aligning them together and being able to show, like, with utility. I have a path that can really, I believe, help.
Yeah. I have a question for you. You know, and it came up in the film, you know, where you talked about the carnivore movement and things like that. And like, I was gung ho in ketosis when I retired from fighting because it just helped my brain work again. It was one of the things alongside plant medicines and hyperbaric oxygen that really reshaped and retuned my brain after all the damage it had taken from college football, Pop Warner, and then of course in fighting. And, you know, at a certain point, I was like, you know, I fucking love carbohydrates. Like, let me go back to eating berries and other goodies and sourdough bread that's homemade and all the fun stuff. And I have more balance. But now, you know, at least once a year, probably twice a year, I'll do some form of a longer form fast. Sometimes I'll stay in ketosis for 2 or 3 weeks just to get that metabolic reset.
Yeah.
But what came up for me in that was I noticed your love for the plants. And I noticed the way the verbiage around the mother and the sacredness of, you know, when you harvested that beautiful bull. At what point did you rebuild or remember your connection to spirit, to God?
Jared Getz said to go to Clara Vida, just surrender and go. And I said, okay. And I went and I met my spirit and came back with my spirit, with my soul, and discerned the ego from my soul. And I like the soul version of me. To be able to be so free to share everything. Shitting laying down is how I shit. I do enemas every day. Ask Ben Greenfield, I asked him for the recipe on Thanksgiving. Dude, I thought I was dying. I kind of was. The CT scan said it. And I said, Ben, what's the coffee enema recipe? And he responds, best Thanksgiving greeting ever. And I only ask him for stuff when I need them, and I haven't even said thank you. So I need to honor him better. But to be so free to share all of those things, anything, because the trajectory of he lied set me on a new trajectory. Clara Vida introduced me to my spirit, and then my spirit introduced me to the things that really matter, like the trees and the birds and all that kind of stuff.
Is Clara Vida an ayahuasca retreat center?
No,
what is it?
Not ayahuasca. It's a retreat center, and I just would prefer to not say more.
Yeah, that's it. No, I get that. The reason I said ayahuasca is due to the fact that for me, I mean, I've got a laundry list of my psychedelic passport is long. So, you know, everybody likes to use that for their pissing contest here in Austin. But of all the plant medicine journeys that I've had, psilocybin really connected me to my spirit and showed me a level of dimension beyond everyday waking state reality. But ayahuasca was the one that tied me to Pachamama. It tied me to Mother Earth in a way where I was like, wow, you're alive, you're thinking, you're a being like me, and you're a fucking huge, grand, beautiful being that holds us all, you know, and so that to me was my doorway back into my remembrance of Mother Nature and how to work with it, and fueled us wanting to have a farm, you know, and grow our own food and be in connection and harmony with that. Changed the way that I hunt and changed the way that I harvest, and the prayers that are made, and I've been able to include my kids in those as well, you know, just as you include your boys. So I have big respect for those two in particular, but especially Aya for that level of reconnection to the earth, you know.
Yeah. And so it starts, and then like I'm on my hands and knees in the garden. If it's growing in my garden, I eat all of it, and I can't swallow it because my gut doesn't work the right way, so I chew the fuck out of it. I basically juice it in my mouth, and on your hands and knees, all the fibers forward, then you gotta just swallow the back. It becomes easy. To do it. And then I don't actually spit it out. I put it in my hand, and then I compost it around whatever seems to be like there's some plants that are like burning. It's like they're alive and they're on fire, and they're almost screaming for help. And then you can recover a lot. You can't do it all at once, but then I'll just spend them. Not only will I take like the dying pieces off. Okay, these are the dying pieces.
That's right. Sit still. She's just gonna land on you. We got our cockatiel going to say hi.
So like these not healthy pieces that were gonna fall off anyways. I'm like, okay, I'll eat that stuff, and I'm gonna end up spitting a lot of the cardboard. I used to throw it out of the garden. Oh, trash out of the garden. And now I'll just shred it. It ends up being a lot. I'll use it as compost for the sick one. Cool. You know, and then I'll just kind of do a little thing. And I'm like, dude, I have fist bump. I feel good about that. And now I know, like when I see rosemary, like I know rosemary. Like really, you know, or like marigold flower or English thyme, you know. And not all these things are meant to go through the oral cavity. Some of them you could just boom, 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 smell it in your lungs, diffuse through your bloodstream. Smoke, fire, real wisdom from outside. Smell it, information. Your body knows how to parse out the stuff that's valuable and stuff that isn't. Some of it's valuable. So to be on my hands and knees, to have the relationship that I have in there because I know what we are, I know how connected we are, and to be grateful for it. We just had a lot of rain. A lot of branches are down, and when I see branches are down, a lot of times like that was probably a sick branch anyways, but sometimes it's not a sick branch. Sometimes it's like a catastrophic blow or something really, really bad. Like I know, I can feel that we take like all of their bones and we put it over in a pile, and we don't even burn the burn pile. Like, oh, they see, I got a sense of like, this is how they treat things that are important, like really sacred to us. Now when like that happens, I see the branch and I'll start to get everything together. But I like look at this big one that fell off, and I try to find, okay, where did it come from? And I'm like, I look at it, and you can feel the hurt, how fresh and shattered and moist. Like that wasn't meant to go. That one hurt, man. And so I'm like there with the branch, and then I go over to the tree, and I'm like, I don't even say anything. I just kind of feel something, and I usually will then take it in for a fire, or and then those ashes I return back to the base of the tree. You know, there's just a good feeling, and there's a feeling after getting plugged into that and being grateful, acknowledging and understanding it. I just told my wife, like other gifts that you get, I was able to communicate with a frog yesterday. There's a frog that's outside. I moved really slow to get right next to it. I'm right next to it, and you can see its eye. If I move, the eye moves, so it's looking at me, right? And I got music on this side of me, and so the frog's on this side, and so the music's going through us, the same vibration. And so if it's like this song, like whatever the beat is I'm doing, and I'm over here, and the frog is looking over here. It's feeling the same vibration. We're communicating something. Neither of us know what, you know, but an understanding that we never had before. That's a pretty cool feeling. Um, After being introduced to this stuff, I became a dog whisperer, is what they call it. But I understand my dogs and your dog. You know, I just I want to share. I want to share. And the last part might make it seem like don't have my head on right. That's fine too. That's fine too because it feels good, and I usually do it in private anyways. You know, you don't get to see that part. Yeah. The world's hurting. Entertained, we're very entertained, distracted, not creating value, wanting a better life, saying that we're striving, but really knowing that we're not, really hurting. Some of us so much so that we think maybe the world might be better without us. We're just not really headed in the right direction, and most of us know it. And I think that there's a better bet. The way that we lived for millions of years, the things, they're free, accessible to everybody. We could do them right now. 12 ancestral tenets. Grounded in a framework. There's no profitability except for you. That's the message. A supplement, if you have a failing heart or brain or bone marrow or your pancreas isn't working right, like supports like is actually grounded in something more sacred and more honorable. But science even validates some of it. These things, we should be eating that way. We should get it from the butcher, get it from the farmer's market. If you don't do that, you can supplement with it. One of my companies will profit money-wise, and that value exchange will be used overwhelmingly to spread the message. Man, I really wanted to kind of talk about like the gross inaccuracies, the mistruths about the movie. My family deserves better. Our family deserves better. Shame on you. Shame on the network. Shame on us for rewarding them. You know, consequences. You thought you would attack a guy that's like a cave idiot. There would be no consequence. And I never wish harm upon anybody. My queen wants to take their knees out, and merciful is like, you don't have to go any further. Just try to help make them good and true. How could you help them make good and true and everybody just profit more off of prospectively being master builders of our own lives? Not reacting to somebody else making a reacting video, you know, but to master build our lives with principles. There's a better life to live without consequence is not okay. The network doing this is not okay. The director who made it, not okay. We should boycott the movies. There should be consequence. The more plates, more dates guy. Unsubscribe to him and the vigorous other guy. And then everyone who unsubscribes, every single one, the millions, I'm going to donate the exact amount to a charity that does good. And I have a present for Joe Rogan I've been trying to give him. I didn't know the right time to give it to him. Do you know John Wick 4?
Mm-hmm.
The Pit Viper?
Mm-hmm.
I got a collector's piece that's like 001 or was one of the first ones.
From Terran Tactical?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a rad gun.
Oh, yeah. Did you do the Sand Viper also?
I don't know which one I've shot with, but I got one of my buddies, Justin Rezvani, he's buddies with Terran and those guys, and he will cough up the high dollar amount for some of their gear, and I've shot with those. And
With Terrans?
Yeah, it's almost like automatic for like you can just go as fast. That trigger is it's happy. It's
the
ready to
bit
go.
in the sand. I got the sand after the eye injury, but man, those guns are so. Staccato was always my favorite. Oh, you can't beat Staccato, and they're here. They're like in Austin or something.
Oh, cool.
You can't beat Staccato. Ferrari, Pit Viper, new fucking level. So I got this collector's. What are you gonna get, Joe, to say thank you? You know, and so there was like a 2-year waiting list, and we made it. And there's this really cool case they made it in, and I've been waiting to figure out, like, because I'm not invited, and I would love to be invited to give that to him. Not really for that reason, but truth is, it's in the corner of my vault, and I would love to be able to get it out of there because his face is on top of it and just looking at me every day. He's just looking at me. Maybe you could put in a word for me.
Yeah, brother.
You know
Maybe
him,
you'll
right?
hear it. Yeah, I've been on his podcast a couple of times. We haven't spoken in a while, but
Well, maybe he'll see this
maybe you'll see
video.
this. Yeah, brother.
And maybe a small groundswell will say that he really is not a bad guy. He's an okay guy. And he might have some interesting things that you might want to parse out and go deep with to see if he's really full of shit, because that's what he's asking. Can Liver King go on your podcast and it'd be called Joe Rogan Tries to See If He's Full of Shit About Anything? Anything. Absolutely anything. And then if you like, you can blood test me, hair test me, or anything like that too. That would probably be a good podcast. But more than anything, like, I just know, in principle, he does most of the tenets. He does most of the tenets. A tenet was never to sun your butthole. I don't know who came up with that one. He said that he thought that was a tenet, but that's not one. He actually does most of them, and he talks about liver all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for somebody who's saying the message with a different name and a different style, a true king never fights with another man. Our fighter archetype, our warrior we did that. And there's a time and place out of principle to do it. But then once you're not doing that, alliances are built, and we fight alliances out of principle. And so, unbeknownst to Joe, he's been a great alliance because he does all those things. Oh, I do what Joe does. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Yeah. I'm not saying it like I meant it because I'm thinking something else, but the truth is I'm thinking double down on it. Yeah. So I hope there's a small groundswell, because I wanted to come here because other people asked me to come on some really big shows, and we've done those really big shows. And you know what you did is you also edited out almost all of it. All of it. So if it's okay, I'll probably go to like a real king that I've looked up to. And it turns out he's close. He's got a beautiful ranch and family. I left you a message. Hey, brother Buffalo, brother Bear. Man, could you have me on your podcast? I didn't even leave it. I deleted all my contacts, so I left it for someone, my number 2. Adam Trank, he's my number 2. He's about to be my number 3 because he made a bad decision, very bad decision recently. But then I left the message for Adam. Hey, Adam, can you get in touch with Kyle? I don't have his contact information. Could you send this to him? And I just want to say thank you for believing in me. When we messaged back and forth, felt like you believed in me.
100%, brother.
And then you had me on your podcast to be able to say the truth. And if there's any other truth that you think might be interesting, I'm happy to talk about it.
No, that's been awesome, brother. I want to get to show you guys the land here and hopefully introduce you to my family.
Okay, so I always talk like framework in life, like what's the better bet? Because if there's a plan, okay, but be flexible. What's the better bet? And when you have everything to look forward to is a better bet, you have all this on the horizon. I forgot what we're about to do, and I've seen a taste of what it looks like, and I can't wait to now go get out of this box and immerse into this playground, man, this wonderful adventure, man. Can I close with this very small prayer?
Absolutely, brother.
This wonderful adventure that we call life on earth. Thank you, God, for right now. Thank you, Almighty Father, Son. Thank you, Your Majesty, Mother Moon, Your Majesty, Mother Earth. The sun, you warm us. The light, for our might, for our fight. The night, the moon, the rest, the recovered, let's sleep. Mother Earth, Comasticus, our clay. We can pray what matters. We come from you, we'll return to you. When for our breath. Ooh, that breath, every breath thereafter, the gentle breeze. Water, thank you for my blood. Thank you for the reflection that we see in you. We're mostly you. Thank you, God, for creating us, for our existence. Thank you to all of the elements that conspire in the cosmos that give us this beautiful adventure that is life. This podcast today, I've asked you to show me what I need to see today, reveal to me what I need to feel to me today, to seal it into me with actual action, with this kind of action. The expression, nothing that's planned, but just to walk in your light. Thank you, God, for the discernment to do just what matters, nothing that doesn't, to be profitable with time, to bridge the gap, the delta to perfect, and to deliver what happened here today. King time, unexpected, grace from Kyle to have me in his house, to allow a guy talk the way that he talks. Thank you for your grace, for allowing me to be here, for welcoming my family that's here. And we ask that you continue to show us more today, reveal to us more, seal it into us, expression with action. I would normally say thank you to my family and all this other stuff. I'm not going to do that because we're finishing the podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.
Amen.
Is it okay if we ask my wife if there's anything that we didn't cover?
Fuck yeah. Is there anything we didn't cover?
The what?
Yeah.
Well, because I made it public, because people asked me, I didn't know that it was a thing. And I made it public. I made that choice. She supported me through that choice. She feels, because of who I am and because of how I actually treat people, that it wasn't fair. And I told her that it's fine. It's one of the greatest gifts that I've ever had is to be called out like that. You can't ask for that kind of resistance, that kind of emotional resistance. You normally wouldn't ask for it, but the gift of being able to have it, to navigate through it. And now you're going to call me a liar. I'm going to go ahead and just be so free that I can share with you anything and everything out in the open all of the time. I brought a growth hormone here. I was going to do it if it became time to do it because I have a bunch of injuries. I would just do it on here. If I'm in the street doing apocalypto and it's time and somebody pulls up to me and they're talking, my alarm goes off. A growth hormone. Yeah. And to be that free, I wouldn't have had that gift if it weren't for the evil wannabe, let's destroy somebody, and that kind of resistance, the greater the fallback, the greater the comeback, the depth at which you go into something but go all the way through it, all that blood, all the sacrifice, own all of it, the depth. You got to build that back up and be free. So I can be grateful for that. She wants to really hammer that home. For years, when you started Liver King, you were just on testosterone cream and growth hormone. She wants to make that really clear. I don't feel like that needs to be made really clear. I think we kind of said some of that. I believe that's sufficient, don't you? Okay.
Yeah, we're good. And if there's any, look, I'm gonna make my way to y'all's ranch, so I can't wait to come visit you guys. We'll do another one. This has been fantastic.
Can we do a few quick things?
Yeah, brother.
I say, yeah, boy. My family already knows what to do. I don't think Derek does, but when I say, yeah, boy, afterwards we all say it back, okay? All right, and we're going to do 3 of them. That's a triple crown. That means, you did good. And then after that, we're going to do closing ceremony. I'll do Liver King, and you call it whatever you call yourself, and they'll do it, then Derek will go last. Wow, we might have to do it twice, but let's do it right now. Yeah, boy!
Yeah, boy!
Yeah, boy!
Yeah, boy!
Yeah, boy!
Yeah, boy!
Liver King.
King's Boo.
Out. Okay, that's a wrap, brother. Thank you.